Flights with EasyJet simply make no sense. They're loud, they're messy, they're late, and they offer about as much comfort as your local bus service. But somehow, it's working. So that made me curious and I started digging. Soon I'm going down a rabbit hole and end up uncovering a whole lot more about the biggest, most controversial, and undeniably the most orange airline in the entire UK. This is the EasyJet Paradox. For today's video, I decided to randomly spawn in Reykjavik, the capital of a place called Iceland. Speaking of islands known for bad weather and bland food, today's destination is Manchester. We'll be heading there on an evening flight operated by EasyJet UK. As the name kind of gives away, EasyJet UK flies to and from the UK. It's one of three little orange sisters in the EasyJet group, next to EasyJet Europe and EasyJet Switzerland. However, very soon in this video, you will see that there is a lot more going on there. But first, let's head to the gate. Since the UK isn't part of the Schengen area, our flight to Manchester leaves from the D gates located as far away from the rest of Keflavík International Airport as physically possible. While I wouldn't describe Keflavík as a particularly nice airport, passport control is fast and hassle-free. The officer scans my passport and sends me into the only country where baked beans are considered a breakfast vegetable. Our flight is one of the last to leave Keflavík Airport tonight. Most shops and restaurants are already closed. Therefore, my search for a cold beer fails, but luckily even in the departure area, there's a door that lets you step outside and enjoy the mild climate of Iceland. The smoke lounge is outside and it's like minus 7 degrees. I prefer not to freeze to death, so I head back inside to the terminal, where, honestly, there is much to do apart from waiting for my flight. In terms of getting great content here, it's a bit complicated because there is literally nothing to see. The only other departure from the non-Schengen area tonight is another EasyJet service going to Bristol. With not much else going on, I take the chance to dig a bit deeper into EasyJet. And I think at this point I don't really have to explain to anyone watching what or who EasyJet is, unless you've been living under a rock. The pilgrimage to Spain on EasyJet has long become a mandatory annual ritual, not just for Brits but for hardworking Europeans across the entire continent. And while the experience may not be glamorous, it's efficient, cheap and kind of iconic. EasyJet is a vibe. However, behind the orange branding and cheeky marketing, there's a very different side to this airline group, one that doesn't exactly like being challenged. Take this passenger for example, who posted a photo of their EasyJet seat that was missing the backrest. Instead of addressing the issue like an adult, EasyJet asked the user to take the post down, which resulted in a shitstorm. And honestly, I won't be surprised if they try to do the same with this video. If it vanishes in a few days, chances are they've sued me into the Stone Age, which wouldn't be unusual because suing people seems to be part of their business model. And I'm not just talking about journalists or newspapers, I'm talking about cases like Easy Life, a British indie band that was forced to change its name, but there are many others like DJ Easy Fun, a Netflix series called Easy, or the donation platform Easy Fundraising. Well, you might have noticed a similarity here. EasyJet holds numerous of trademarks containing the word easy, over 1,000 to be exact, and they'll go after anything that even looks like it might be using it. Doesn't matter if they actually own the rights or not, if it uses the generic word easy, they're suing. At the same time, they keep rolling out new easy brands of their own. Honorable mentions from the easyGroup universe include Easy Cleaning for cleaning products, an online head shop called Easy Hemp, a middle-class friendly service called EasyPet, offering private transportation between Monaco and the UK, starting at £699, something called Easy for Men, where they sell underwear and performance enhancement. They also have Easy Esports, but nothing to see there, and Easy Hose. Hose, like yeah. Some of the Easy companies have nothing to do with EasyJet, they just pay licensing fees to use the word Easy. And for the Easy Group, that's the real business. They build an empire out of selling a word, and now I'm flying right through the middle of it. Ahead of schedule, the gate opens and boarding begins. The flight from Keflavík to Manchester takes less than 3 hours, but that's more than enough time to figure out how this airline really works. As an ultra-budget carrier, EasyJet saves money wherever it can. Turnaround times are short and the crew is trained to make boarding as fast and frictionless as possible. Not long after finding my seat, we're already heading for the runway. We roar out of Iceland and straight into the blackest sky I've ever seen. Below us, nothing but the endless, pitch-black ocean. Above us, more nothing. It's low-key terrifying if you think about it. Luckily, EasyJet doesn't really give you the chance. Every few minutes, there's a new announcement about some tropical scented perfume or a mayo-heavy sandwich deal, which, in its own weird way, keeps you grounded. It's stupid and somehow it's perfect. This is exactly what you're buying into. The tickets are cheap, the extras definitely aren't, and announcements never shut up. At EasyJet, you're not just a passenger, you're inventory. You're here to be monetized. Honestly, I don't have a problem with that. At least EasyJet isn't afraid to admit it, and at the end of the day, I'd rather pay €80 than 300. I mean, that's just how it works. None of that is a secret. Today, this is how most budget carriers operate. However, EasyJet was one of the first in Europe with that model. Their founder, Sir Stelios got a little too excited about Southwest Airlines and in the 90s decided to bring this concept to Europe, make it orange and call it EasyJet. And it worked. Compared to Ryanair or Wizz Air, EasyJet almost feels civilized, and I actually do like to fly with them despite all of it. You pay almost nothing to get on a plane and then get charged for literally everything else. Speed over comfort, profit over vibes. As long as you're okay with that, in most cases, you will have a decent experience, and that's precisely why EasyJet works. However, there is someone new at the table, another budget airline expanding fast, setting up bases all across Europe, called Eurowings. Click here to see why flying with them was weird.